quiz is lesson 56. It's multiplying by three-digit numbers that include 0. So about the same as what we did last time, but we're going to add a 0, and there's a couple of shortcuts you can take that we're going to talk about. So the first thing you can do is hang the 0 off the end. So let's just go ahead and do this problem like normal. We're going to say 0 times 3 is 0. 0 times 4 is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. Well, if I add all those zeros into anything, they're not going to help anything. They're not going to add anything because it's 0. If I write my problem this way, with that trailing 0 off to the right side, let's try that. Let's just bring it down and then pretend like it doesn't exist. Okay, 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. Now I've got that 0, and I've got a place holding 0 because I'm working with the 1, so I'm going to start right under the 1. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 4 is 4. And 1 times 2 is 2. Now if I add those, what do I get? That cut out a whole step, didn't it? I have to multiply all those zeros. So you have to be kind of careful when you do that. You can only do it if it's at the end. You can't do it if it's in the middle. And you have to remember to add it back in at the end. That's why I like having my columns. I put it there and then I just pretend like I've just done a place holding 0. Example 2 says, instead of hanging it off the end, if it's in the middle, because we can't do that, we can put the number with the 0 on the bottom. So in other words, I could write it this way or I could write it this way. So why would it matter? Well, let's do this problem right here. Actually, let's do it this way and then we'll do this one. So 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. 0 times 3 is 0. Place holding 0. 0 times 4 is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. Place holding zeros, because I'm working with the 1, so I'm going to start in that column. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 2 is 2. Add them all up. But that row of zeros didn't help me any, did it? So let's come down here and try it this way. Okay, 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, since I know those zeros aren't going to add anything to my problem at the end, can I skip that 0? Sure, let's go right to the 1. If I do that, I've got to remember to put my place holding zeros in. So 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 2 is 3. Did I just say 1 times 2 is 3? Oh, Lord. I knew something felt really wrong. Okay, so now that I've got that fixed, do you ever do that silly stuff and then you realize, oh, that was really silly? Okay, so 6 plus 0 is 6. 8 plus 0 is 8. 4 plus 3 is 7. I get the same answer, but it's less steps, isn't it? So that's what you can do. If you have a 0 in your number, put it as the bottom part of your equation, and then you can just skip that 0. Be sure to put your place holding zeros so you line everything up correctly. Okay, the example 3 is about money. And they're saying that during a minor league baseball game, a vendor sold 120 hot dogs for $3.25 each. What amount of money did the vendor collect for the sale of those hot dogs? Okay, so if there's $3.25 each, and he sold 120 of them, I'm going to put that 0 on the bottom, right? And I'm going to make it trailing. So I'm going to, instead of writing it this way, I'm going to stick it over this way. Okay, remember when I have a decimal, so those two numbers are after a decimal place. So I underline those so I know that I have 2 after the decimal, because I know I'm going to have that same amount of numbers after the decimal in my answer. Okay, so I can bring that 0 down, then I can start multiplying. 2 times 5 is 10. Carry the 1. 2 times 2, 4 plus 1 is 5. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay, now I have 2 place-holding zeros, right? Because I want to work with the 1. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. Got it right that time. 0, 0, 10. Carry the 1. 6 plus 3 is 9. Okay. Let's count. I have 2 after the decimal. So I know I want to have 2 numbers after a decimal. So I put my decimal right in front of those 2 numbers. So let's highlight it just so we know we have the same amount. And it's money, so now I can just put my dollar sign. So he made $390. That vendor did a pretty good job that day, didn't he? Okay, I really like it if you underline the numbers after the decimal, because that helps you remember to count them, and it helps you remember where to put your decimal in the answer. Okay, good luck.